After stock market advice linked to Iran's political camp grabbed attention, fresh reporting has now put Pete Hegseth under scrutiny. A new report says Donald Trump's war secretary may have tried to position for huge profits before the Iran war began. According to the reporting, Hegseth's broker explored a multimillion-dollar investment in defense-linked firms before the war. Warnings from Iran's side about war and profit are gaining attention again, amid search for proof that Trump or his inner circle personally waged war for financial gain. A report now claims that the broker for U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth tried to make a major investment shortly before the Iran war, raising fresh scrutiny over timing and potential conflicts. According to that reporting, Hegseth's broker attempted to invest in defense companies in the weeks before the war, linking the inquiry to a defense-focused fund that holds major military contractors. The Financial Times made the claim on March 30th, citing 3 people familiar with the matter, and the report was quickly picked up by other major outlets. The Times of Israel said Hegseth's broker at Morgan Stanley contacted BlackRock in February about the possible investment. The broker reportedly tried to make a multimillion-dollar investment in BlackRock's Defense Industrials Active ETF, which includes companies tied closely to U.S. defense spending. In response, the Pentagon flatly denied the report, with chief spokesman Sean Parnell saying, "This allegation is entirely false and fabricated." The story emerged only days after Iran's parliament speaker publicly offered American stock market advice, adding another unusual financial angle to the war narrative. Iran's parliament speaker appeared to take a sly dig at Donald Trump just before markets opened on March 30th, using the war and the news cycle to send a pointed political message. Through a post on X, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf appeared to offer what sounded like financial advice, while accusing Washington of trying to shape market sentiment through misleading claims. Notably, this was not the first time Ghalibaf had commented on market trends during the war, as he had earlier accused the United States of using fake news to influence oil and financial markets. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf said, and I quote, "Heads up, pre-market so-called news or truth is often just a setup for profit-taking. Basically, it's a reverse indicator. Do the opposite. If they pump it, short it. If they dump it, go long. See something tomorrow? You know the drill." Unquote. Remember, last week Trump announced a temporary pause on strikes against Iran's energy plants before markets reopened, framing it as part of a diplomatic opening. Following that announcement, Trump claimed that the United States and Iran had begun negotiations aimed at ending the war, even as Tehran publicly denied direct talks were underway. Ghalibaf dismissed Trump's claims as fake news, and said they were designed to manipulate financial and oil markets while helping Washington and Israel escape a strategic bind. Trump's announcement helped trigger a 2-day relief rally across global equities, as investors initially reacted to hopes of de-escalation and possible diplomacy. That recovery did not last, however, as oil prices stayed elevated and bond yields remained firm, showing that markets were still pricing in prolonged geopolitical risk. Global stock markets have been bearing the brunt of the war in the Middle East, with investors repeatedly swinging between relief and fear as headlines shift. Markets are now expected to face even greater pressure amid fresh speculation that the U.S. could still consider ground operations despite the talk of negotiations. On March 29th, Trump openly discussed the possibility of putting boots on the ground, even while continuing to say negotiations with Iran were going well.
Hello, everybody.
Mr. President. Mr. President.
So we've had very good negotiations today with Iran, getting a lot of the things that they should have given us a long time ago. See how it works out, but they're very good. Moving along very nicely. And they've destroyed a lot of additional targets today. The Navy's gone, the Air Force has gone, we know that. But we destroyed many targets today. It was a big day. And we are negotiating with them directly and indirectly. We have emissaries, but we also are dealing directly. And as you know, they've agreed to send 8 boats 2 days ago, and then they added another 2, so it was 10 boats. And now today they gave us as a tribute, I don't know, I can't define it exactly, but they gave us, I think out of a sign of respect, 20 boats of oil, big boats of oil, going through the Hormuz Strait. And that's taking place starting tomorrow morning. Over the next couple of days, a lot of boats. And or just terminating, as an example, the Iran nuclear deal done by Barack Hussein Obama, probably the worst deal we've ever done as a country, one of the dumbest deals we've ever done. But I terminated it, unfortunately, otherwise right now they'd have a nuclear weapon. Then we did the attack with the B-2 bombers and we stopped them from having nuclear. And now we had to blow them up again. And we will probably, I think we'll make a deal with them, pretty sure. Whether it's possible, we won't. But we've had regime change, if you look already, because the one regime was decimated, destroyed, they're all dead. The next regime is mostly dead. And the third regime, we're dealing with different people than anybody's dealt with before. It's a whole different group of people. So I would consider that regime change. And frankly, they've been very reasonable. So I think we've had regime change. I mean, we can't do much better than that. The regime that was really bad, really evil, was the first one. That was done. The second was appointed, and they're gone. They're all dead, other than one who may have a little life in him. And then there really are the third group. And the third group of people that seem to be much more reasonable. It truly is regime change. And regime change is an imperative. I think we have it automatically.
Do you foresee a deal in Iran this upcoming week?
I do see a deal in Iran, yeah.
Mr. President,
Could be soon.
are you considering still putting boots on the ground, and would you do that without going to Congress?
I just have lots of alternatives. We have tremendous numbers of ships over there. We don't need them though because of, the power. Look, I would say we're just like we're ahead of schedule on the ballroom. In a much bigger way, we're ahead of schedule with Iran. We're weeks ahead of schedule. If you would have said that in 3 days we were going to knock out 158 ships, their entire Navy, which we did, we knocked out their entire Air Force. We knocked out most of their missiles. That's why you see missile attacks, but they're down to they're sputtering. And we have a group, it's really a new regime. It's a group of people that we've never dealt with before, that are acting very reasonable. It is truly regime change.
Is Khamenei's son still alive, sir? Is he a part of these
We think he may be. Nobody's heard about him. He may be alive, but he's obviously very seriously in trouble. He's seriously wounded.
You had offered that 15-point plan to Iran. Did they ever come back with a response?
They came back on the 15-point
plan.
They gave us most of the points. Why wouldn't they?
And you make it sound like they made some concessions. Can you identify those?
Well, they're agreeing with us on the plan. I mean, we asked for 15 things, and for the most part, we're going to be asking for a couple of other things. And just to prove that they're serious, they gave us all these votes. When I talked about 4 days ago a present, I said they gave me a present. But I didn't think I was at liberty to say what it was. What it was 8 plus 2. It's 10 massive boatloads of oil. And today they gave us another present. They gave us 20 boatloads of oil. That starts being shipped tomorrow. We're having very good meetings, both directly and indirectly, and I think we're getting a lot of very important points.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.